Please for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. We'll call the meeting to order with a determination of quorum by taking attendance. Councilor Baumgartner. Here. Evers. Here. Ferguson.
Here.
I'm here. Patterns.
Present.
We have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order. We have a lot of folks here, so we'll begin with the public forum. I just want to throw out some guidelines. When addressing the council, please provide your name for the permanent record. Speaking times will be limited to 3 minutes. Once you get to your 3 minutes, I'll gently ask you to please conclude your thoughts. We'll just get rolling with the public forum. Anybody from the public who wishes to address the council, please come forward. Yeah, sit down there, Denise, or you can stand just so we can.
I'm here. Denise Pedic, and I've lived in this community for well over 40 years, raised my family here. And I think the world of this community and our pool. As I took my first swim lessons, I was 35, so I could learn how to do triathlons and enjoy that, and have enjoyed being my fitness routine, my wellness plan. And it can do so much for people's physical, mental health. It helps, control weight or exercise. And even if that's not your desire, just movement, heart and lung exercise is so important. It's a safe place for the children to come for open swim or come with their parents and have a birthday party. Where else can you have a birthday party for a group in this town anymore? We don't have the bowling alley, just a place to go. It's a nice employment opportunity for some young people, a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the evening, just short stints for high school kids who don't want a big, long commitment. There's a swim team that has been present in there and has served from many surrounding communities, people 20, 30 miles away, at least coming to join swim team. It's a safe place to exercise in the winter. We don't have icy streets, uneven sidewalks, icy sidewalks. It's just a safe place for elderly people. Like, I'm not elderly yet, but I'm concerned about them as I have been a nurse for all these years, and all these falls and accidents that happen on ice, that's just if a couple can be avoided because you have an indoor place to do it without ice. Just in this pool, unfortunately, is going to require a lot of money, but it hasn't had a lot of money put into it over the years. And unfortunately, this generation will have to put it in, just like our church, St. Aloysius. We had to spend over $1 million a few years ago to make it back to where it should be. It should have been. Those things hadn't gotten done. So this generation has to do it. And I know it costs money. There's a lot of things we do that cost money, like building the trails, building the parks, buying new lawnmowers, buying all those things for the city. They don't generate income, but they're essential. We just have to repair streets, repair pipes. You got to do it. Costs money. And we can't generate income from those things either. So I'm all in favor of all those things. I love having the trails. I love having that. My grandkids come to town. We all got to have something to do. And these are things that we look forward to. We've always done that with our kids too. We need things to attract new families to our community too, because we've got doctors and nurses and different companies that require employees. We got to have something that's they want to live in Olivia, because oftentimes the people coming to town, the higher paying jobs and whatever, they're living in a town nearby and driving in because they want those amenities. We have to keep that. People go out of town for swim lessons. They're probably going to do their grocery shopping and other things there too. So there's a big economic impact on our community by not having that and people leaving, and people are going to have choices. Everybody has their reasons to use the pool, reasons to want the pool. It's all about choices, but what percentage of people use the pool? I don't know. What percent of the people use the parks or the trails? Nobody knows what that percent is, but they're all important people, all important percents, and we need to keep them in our community. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, Denise. All right. Anybody else wish to address the council?
I'm Mariella Claus, an Olivia resident, a former pool employee, school board member, but I come to you as a community member tonight. The importance of a pool, I look at our community, our city, and I want to bounce off of Denise's ideas. What do we have to promote our city? I mean, we've got churches, we've got businesses. What restaurants do we have? We've got a school, we have multiple parks. We have an indoor pool, the only one in Renville County, so we can be open 12 months a year. And within that 30-mile radius, look at the people we have the potential to draw if marketed. And I really hope that an investment will be made in this pool for this generation and the generations to come. I come now from the teaching perspective at a pool. We need to have swim lessons available for our kids. They need to know what to do in water. That was such a huge safety concern when I was teaching a number of years ago. We have kids that can't swim. They don't even know what to do in the water if they fall in face first. So it is utterly important that we make sure we have an avenue for these kids to learn. And as Denise said, she learned as an adult swimmer. It's okay for adults to take swimming lessons. Takes a special person to get into the water for those adult swimming lessons. So I applaud those people that have come in and tried to do that and have been successful at that. So please support our pool by advocate or putting money towards repairs that the pool needs. And hopefully we can get more marketing for our pool, as that it will be an asset to our whole community and our county. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, Mary Ella. Anybody else wish to address the council?
My name is Mary Jo Halliday. I'm representing myself and my husband, John Halliday. It's my understanding that all of you did receive my letter that I emailed to you. I only heard from a couple of you, so I just wanted to verify that that had happened. I'm not going to go a lot into the letter. I want to say thank you to Mayor Hawkinson and to the counselors for providing the pool facility to the public for the last 50 years. This community resource has offered swimming lessons to all age groups, morning lap swim, women's water exercises, even evening lap swim, open swim on weekends, pool exercise and therapy to all Bowl School sports participants, trained many lifeguards, home to the Renville County Orcas and Girl Scout swim teams, promoted swimming safety, and much more. The public amenities, such as the Olivia Regional Airport, the Olivia Public Library, the Corn Monument at Memorial Park, with available overnight camping, Sunrise Park, Dowling Park, Nestor Park, Kubash Park, West Park, Henton Park, JC Softball Park, Dirks Park, Rainbow Park, and the Olivia Pond Park. They're costly to maintain. They will never cash flow. First, it's my request and hope you, mayor and council, will agree to continue to support this pool facility. Second, please consider expanding the Joint Powers Board by adding community members interested in fundraising and volunteering, looking into increasing the revenues, use the pool and other activities as an after-school program to Bold and other surrounding area students. Be open to input on additional activities such as showing movies with free popcorn, rock climbing, dart throwing, board games, water therapy for injuries, and many other ideas. Third, please be open to marketing this facility to maximize the use of it. Finally, I'm Mary Jo Halliday, Olivia resident and taxpayer, would be interested in serving on the Joint Powers Board to offer more entertainment options to all ages going forward. Mayor Hawkinson, Councilors Matt Baumgartner, Blanca Ferguson, Elizabeth Torkelson, our city administrator, Landon Patternes, and George Evers. Thank you for the past support and your consideration to continue support of this valuable facility.
Thank you for your testimony, Mary Jo. Anybody else wish to address the council?
She stole some of our ideas. We've been kind of talking about it, so I hope this isn't going to be too repetitious. But hi, I'm Sue Hilgert, and I'm an Olivia resident for over 45 years. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to address you tonight. First of all, the swimming pool is jointly owned by the school district and the city of Olivia, and it is 50 years old. I'm not going to go into anything as far as the history. I have three main points that I want to reiterate for you tonight. Number one, the maintenance of this facility and the operation of it is a joint amenity of the community, and that it will always incur an expense. It will never be cash flow, it will never be a money raiser. Funds could be raised, and that brings me to my second point, is that currently it's overseen by the Joint Powers Board, as Mary Jo said. And that board consists of a city council representative and school board, but there's no one from the community there. And I think if we could have an arm from the community, we could expand the scope of that, and we could even have smaller subcommittees or whatever for fundraising or whatever we wanted to do. But that would have to be a decision that the school board and the city council would have to make. I feel that would be the most transparent way to do this. We could start a pool board committee, but by working with the Joint Powers Board, it would give the city council and the school board the opportunity to see where this committee is going. So that brings me to my third point tonight, and that is really what we as pool people need from the school board and the city is the approval to move ahead with this and to give us time to build this program. The pool's been closed for over a year, and it's remarkable how quickly it has come back. But when things like that close for that long, it does take a while to get it back. So this is a very unorganized group of supporters here. We all know we all swim and we see each other and swim at different times. But I think that if we could just get something organized with this is just an important amenity for our community to let it drag. And I think there's community support for all of us moving together on it. And I hope that was under 3 minutes, John.
I was.
Try to be a minute.
Oh, all right.
Just kidding. My name is Julie Reamer. I've been a member of this community, I think, for 25 years. Ever since I had my first baby 24 years ago, we used the pool for like parent and me classes. All of our kids went through not lifeguarding, just swim lessons. So just from a person who uses the pool personally, as well as having my kids, we live in a land of 10,000 lakes, right? So that whole idea of knowing how to swim is so important with the community that we live in. I just would really appreciate your guys' support in keeping this pool up and running, getting it updated and all the stuff and the support with that. I'm also a dietitian at the hospital. Lifestyle and movement is all a part of almost every visit I have with patients. And it's just kind of fun when they're like, what, there's a pool? It's in Olivia. These are people that live in the BLH school district. They live in, RCW school district. So there is a huge, I think, opening that people would travel here to Olivia to be able to utilize that. And I love what Denise and Mary Jo and Sue said too. So all of those points I totally agree with. I just wanted to add those extra ones too. So thank you for
your testimony, Julie. Anybody else wish to address council?
Was it for the poll?
Yep,
It's public forum.
you can address us about anything.
Oh, yeah, it's for the poll.
You have 3 minutes now.
Well, then in that case, no. So this past summer, I was swimming in the river with my grandkids and my daughter went and took swimming lessons here at Olivia. And we were drowning. And the fact that she was taught how to swim actually kept her really calm. And we were able to pull there was 4 of us total. So the fact that she had those swimming lessons helped her stay calm, because they teach them to stay calm and they teach them to swim. So that was 4 lives that were saved because of the swimming lessons here in this pool. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Wow, thank you for your testimony, Anita. Anybody else wish to address the council about the pool or anything else? Anybody else wish to address council? Okay, thank you everybody for your testimony. We definitely appreciate hearing from the public. we'll move on out of the public forum into the regular meeting here with an approval of tonight's agenda.
So move. Second.
Motion's been made by Eber, seconded by Paternoss to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Agenda's been approved. We'll move down to the consent agenda. They include the minutes from February 20, a gambling exempt permit for the Pages Foundation, our pay equity report, the approval of that, authorization of a step increase for Jody Gilberts, naming of the city administrator Elizabeth as the MMPA alternate, fire department purchase request from Dingus Fire Quote regarding fire jackets, or I've been corrected, turnout gear, and February disbursements. I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion's been
Second.
made by Baumgartner, seconded by Ferguson to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Move down to the discussion items. 5A, Energy Adjustment Clause Report. Hi, Joe.
And I think you all received the memo, but on January 8th, we had a customer call and he questioned why, when he calculated his usage time times the electric rate, it was not accurate. So after looking at the situation, we found where there was an energy adjustment put into the electric rate from the previous utility accounts manager. We have like a how-to book with all the steps. And in that book, it's the process was still the old process where you enter it every month. And it's a line item. So when the retired staff member came back to train me, we found that the fuel or the EAC was not listed on the bills. So we contacted Tyler, who does our software company, and we got that added back into the utility bills. When we found out this error we were charging people two different times, one as the EAC that was embedded in the electric rate and the line item of the EAC. We did some more digging and we found out that back in, I believe July of 2022, the previous account manager had it embedded into the line or embedded into the electric rate. So from April of 2023 until January of 2024, we were charging customers both. One was embedded and then one was a separate line item. I've been working on a spreadsheet with the credit amounts. The credits, they'll be applied to the customer's account for those who are still residing in their locations. The city administrator stated that per the advice from the city attorney, that the tenants who have moved will be sent a notice that they will have 90 days to notify the city of their updated address to receive a refund. There's some landlords who have had to pay final bills on past tenants, so they will have the opportunity to notify us so the credit can go back to the landlords and not to a tenant who didn't pay it.
So this is just an update right now. We're still figuring out final amounts and things like that, so we don't have a number for you. We were hoping to have this issue resolved, but it's just taken a little bit longer. So we'll come back and let you know what the final amounts are.
The average home is roughly $30 to $80.
For the entire time period?
Yes. I mean, there's a few businesses that are in the teens, like 18,000, but otherwise most of them are $30 to $80. Apartments are $20 to $40.
And they'll be credited to the accounts unless if they have moved away and are no longer a customer.
Good catch.
Oh, it was one of our residents, and that was excellent. Yeah. Luckily, it was only 10 months and not a lot longer than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for the update. Any questions for Joe? All right,
Thank you.
move down to the main event here, the pool presentation.
So that's me. For those of you who saw the pool presentation at the school board, it stayed a lot the same. So you'll just have to bear with me as you get to relive the presentation the second time. So here's our presentation on the pool. I know Sue made a reference to history, which is an excellent transition because I'm going to cover the history of the pool as gleaned from the Village of Olivia minutes as well as other city council minutes. So starting off, we do a timeline. So in 1955, there was a group from Civic and Commerce who requested the council consider construction of a community swimming pool in the village at that time. It was kind of kickstarted in 1972 with a donation of $50,000 by the Jacobson family to initiate the swimming pool fund. Then in 1973, we can find the first pool agreement between the city and school governing the operation and financial support of a jointly owned swimming pool. 3 years later, there's the first city payment of a little over $19,000 to the school to fund the swimming pool construction. And then in 1977, there's a proposed joint agreement with the school board governing, between the school board and the city governing the city community education program, which is where the pool lived under. Moving into the 80s, you have resolutions adopting administrative policies and safety regulations for the Olivia swimming pool in 82. In 83, we modified and amended the 1973 pool agreement. And then 3 years later, we modified and amended the 1983 pool agreement. In 1988, interestingly enough, the city actually voted to relinquish the city's ownership of the swimming pool to the school effective January 1st, 1990. When they voted to relinquish ownership, they still agreed to take on the financial half, but they just didn't want to terminate their actual ownership interest. The school board said, no thanks, we want you as our joint partner. And so the partnership lived on between the city and the school. In the 90s, you'll see Olivia and Bill became the Bold School District. In 94, they amended the 1986 pool agreement. And then in 2002, there was a finalized a major repiping at the swimming pool where a lot of those old cast iron pipes were replaced with PVC pipe. In 2016 is when the new joint powers agreement was created, the JPA board. That's also where we hired our current pool coordinator, Tracy, who's with us today. In 2019, there was another update to the joint powers agreement. And then in 2020, the city took on 100% of the pool costs to help out Bold. The next year, Bold paid 25% of the pool costs. And then in 2022, Bold resumed paying their 50% of pool costs. In 2023, as probably everyone in this room remembers, with the exception of me, because I wasn't here yet, there was an electrical fire in the pool. In 2024, the pool has reopened and we are hopeful that the Bold school construction project begins. And that kind of brings us to the general conversation today where we're discussing the financial commitment of the pool moving forward. A little bit of the focus on finances. So the City of Olivia pool budget is 2% of our general budget, general fund budget. And if you break it into thinking of it as a park, which is kind of what we've all thought of it as kind of a park, it's about 13% of our current park budget. So a little bit closer of that here, you'll see the revenues versus the expenses. So the gap in between there is what the school and the city cover to get those to match each other. I think it's important to know nobody on the city side or the school side thinks that this will ever generate funds like our municipal liquor store. But, trying to help narrow that gap a little bit would certainly be helpful to ease the financial commitments of the school and the city. You'll see a track record of Olivia pool expenses starting from 2005 all the way through 2023. I had Sean run some numbers for us there. And then in the next slide, we look at some of the rates that we have currently in place for open swim, family swim, season passes, pool rentals. So you can see kind of just how the pool does bring in revenue. So this is programs and rentals. Then you have lessons, how much currently the pool is charging for lessons. We have more lesson rates, trainings for lifeguard training, because the pool doesn't just do swimming lessons. They also do lifeguard training, water safety instruction, things like that. Which moves us nicely to our pool programming. So pool programming currently includes swimming lessons, morning swimming, evening lap swim, water exercise classes, family swimming, open swim, and pool rentals. A fun note about this, the first open swim of the year to kind of celebrate the new opening, they had 72 people attend their open swim. And most recently, this past weekend, they had 52 attend. 57, sorry, I didn't mean to cut it 5 short. I knew the 50s. So previous programming that has happened with the pool in the 70s and 80s, there were high school swim teams, girls and boys swim teams in the 80s. Later on, there was a Girl Scout swim team, which was a summer program, and a 4-H swim team, also a summer program. Currently, what's being offered is programming for 5th through 9th grade. It's happening in the winter with the PE teacher. We also have the Renville County Aquatic Club Orcas that have been a club for about a decade and are currently still utilizing the pool. We also do lifeguard training, lifeguarding review, water safety, and other American Red Cross programs that are run through the pool programming. Here's just some nice numbers on community swim lessons, how many people have taken advantage. We have no way of knowing, how many of these people resided where, but I think it's a good snapshot of the swim lessons and the importance to swim lessons that several members of the public discussed here today. So you can see on the next slide, 2020, let's all just ignore that year. We all know COVID impacted community programming across the way, not just swimming, but you can see it had a nice healthy rebound after the pandemic really took a toll on things. Then you can see our swimming programs as well. The numbers there who have taken advantage of the swimming program since 2016. And then you can see kind of a similar graph, again, falls off in 2020, picks back up nice through 2022. Going into the survey results, I was very heartened by putting out a Google form survey. I wasn't sure what the community response was going to be. We ended up getting 325 responses, which we were refreshing the screen on the first day, cheering every time we got a response. So that was very exciting. We opened it the day after Valentine's Day, and it just officially closed this morning because I was out of the office on Friday. But here you can see a breakdown of the 325 responses. You have 201 residents of Olivia who use the Google form, 76 Bold School District residents, 33 Renville County residents, and 15 other. So those are the other categories, was a write-in category. Here's specifically an Olivia versus Bold breakdown. So 71% resident of Olivia, 29% Bold School District. For question 2, this was kind of the pool board who helped create all of these questions, wanted to understand if people knew what the pool provided. And overwhelmingly, yes, people knew the programming that provided. And then when you go to the second question and just look at the citizens of Olivia, they also overwhelmingly, yes, next slide. That's okay. Understood what the pool offered, which I think is really wonderful. For the third question, it was getting kind of towards the cost of the pool. So how we came up with this number is right now it's budgeted for 2024 to be around 40,000 in operating costs of the city, plus then the bond payment if the city were to undertake this project, which is about $60,000. So that's $100,000 divided by the total number of residents in Olivia gives you a approximate estimate of $42 a year for each resident. All 325 responses, over 72% said yes, over 15% were indifferent, and just shy of 12% said no. When you break that down further with Olivia and Bold breakdown, you have 74% saying yes, 13.5% saying no. And then of course, when you get to just the city of Olivia on the next slide, this is 205 responses. Why the numbers change is because we did have 4 people submit paper surveys. So this includes their paper survey results. So you have 72.7% saying yes and indifferent 12.2%. Next, we got about, a snapshot of how likely are you to use the pool. So this is a breakdown of all 325 respondents. And then we also, again, broke it down to just Olivia and Bold breakdown on the next slide, and then breaking it down even further to City of Olivia residents on the final slide. Question 5 was a open-ended idea. So I think this was a great question to add for programming ideas. We got, I think, over 250 people who chose to answer this. So it shows a lot of engagement with people putting in their own recommendations. If you're interested in seeing the full list, I can certainly share that with you. You have people say mooring opportunities, additional lat swim, fitness classes, therapy, swimming lessons, movie nights. Tying it into the Bold curriculum was a constant idea thrown about in this section. Longer open swim hours. There were a lot of public comments about longer hours, more availability to swim. I thought this was a nice idea, opportunities for special needs plays lessons. Somebody's son is autistic and they'd like a program to have a comfortable pool environment for them and teach water safety. Other programming ideas carried on into the next slide. I only highlighted a couple of them. Reaching outside of the Bold School District. We are the only indoor pool in the county. Maybe other schools want to partner. Lessons, party, exercise, more kid-friendly, better hours of operation. So again, you kind of see a similar vein for different programming ideas. Wellness program devised for area employers to offer their employees. So a lot of great community feedback in this section. And then some people also used it as a way to voice their comments. So I just highlighted 3 different comments. I know you've all been received comments from other community members. So the first one, the pool must stay open. We live in the land of 10,000 lakes. We need to teach our children to swim and enjoy the water. An indoor pool provides service 12 months a year. Swimming is a skill that lasts a lifetime and is beneficial for all ages and abilities. Another resident, please close the pool. The use this pool gets does not justify the expense, especially not to the school. The city should look to add an outdoor pool in the summer or put a pool with the community center they are looking to build. We do not need a pool this size. The square footage could be used to expand the school's functionality. And then the third comment that I pulled out focuses on some of us have a wellness plan and the pool is part of that. Year-round exercise opportunity without the fall risk from uneven sidewalks. Some blocks have no sidewalks, ice streets and sidewalks, distracted driver incidents that include pedestrians being injured. We have to put in new streets from time to time, cost money with no return. We build playgrounds and tennis courts, cost money with no return. Our city does not have a movie theater or bowling alley, not much recreation to attract or retain current people who may consider relocating. So there are activities for entertainment and reasons for our grown kids to want to spend time here more than the fact that current resident lives here. So again, this is a snapshot. If anybody on the council is interested in seeing the full results, we can certainly share those around. Any questions myself can offer. I will try fielding them first because Tracy's voice is on the mend, but I will punt if I need to. Other than that, it's your all discussion.
Anybody want to offer any conversation?
Well, just considering the option here to have the pool or not, really am populist on this item because I don't know what the people want the people to tell me in this case, because if people want to spend money and have a pool, we should have the pool. If they don't, we shouldn't. However, I don't want to keep doing things the same way. And I was really happy to hear us talk about marketing it better, getting a committee involved to promote it more. I know in some of my randomness, talking to people around town, some people just didn't even know we had a pool, and it's a little bit distressing. If we're going to invest $1.5 million into this thing, people should at least know it's an option or as an amenity. So a lot more outreach. I almost call it like giving it more love. It needs more love. We need to spread that word, and we also need to make it multi-dimensional. So it's just a pool right now, and we're fixing just a pool, but I like this idea of putting in a rock wall. I like the idea of the movies at the pool. Like, let's use what we have in more creative ways to generate more buzz, get more interest, get more people in the door. Because yeah, I realize it's not going to cash flow, but we should use it, god darn it, if we have it.
Mhm.
So that's my personal thoughts about the pool.
To be fair to Tracy, she does do movies in the pools and activities like that.
Okay.
So.
And I'm not beating up on anybody here, so please don't read into it more than. Okay.
Well, Landon and I know more about what goes on in the pool because we're on the committee, so we get updates directly from Tracy. It's put out there in the flyers, and I just think the pool is extremely important and that we need to fix it, and there's kids, the orcas, you see them not only swimming, they're out in the community, they're trying to raise money for you know what I mean? It helps the kids have something to do. Not everybody wants to play football or whatever, or it might not be the correct season for whatever. And they do like doing the swimming. And I think it's important that we keep it for that. And most importantly, the swimming lessons.
are the number one. Swimming lessons and then for the activity. There's a lot of people that go to those aerobic classes that you have, and it's just, we need things like that here.
Be also interesting, maybe if you could put a walking track around the outside edge of the pool, so in the winter time when it's so dry everywhere, you know, you can walk somewhere where it's humid and just have another experience. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. How can we reasonably add functionality to the pool to make it pay off more and more in terms of usage?
A bigger budget.
No, I said my little spiel, but just to reiterate that, when the pool started back in the eighties, when the pool started, they had a full-time pool director, and then I was half-time assistant pool director. So they had a person and a half working on that program. We had year-round swimming lessons, we had regular adult swimming lessons, we had all the classes go in for school, for swimming lessons and that, and Tracy's only part-time. So, just to understand the scope of what could be, but it needs a commitment, but just a little bit.
Thank you. Gentlemen? That's you guys.
I guess I'll go first, but, it's good to see the results of that survey. I'm glad we put that out. That's one thing that in the past has been lacking, getting community input. Obviously it's the people that did fill it out, the majority wants it. And, I'm gonna go with the people who voted for me. But at the same time, along Matt's direction is we need to do better. And if that requires, adding more community members to it, so be it, fundraising, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm all for it, I guess. I'm disappointed it's gotten to this point since I've been on as a council member. We've had a lot of decisions that we've had to make and been put in corners because our previous generation had made no actions. So, but I'm glad we can have a chance to do something about it, and hopefully it teaches the future some lessons too.
Wildly.
I feel like you've been waiting.
I get to go last.
No, kind of to echo what Matt and George just said is, as much as I support the pool and everything going forward, the way it currently hemorrhages money, it might not be sustainable. We need to work better to utilize this asset and utilize it, or create the utilization that'll help it cash flow slightly better. Like, again, it'll never make money, but if it could, seeing as we're gonna over double our investment in this pool every year, if we could try to lessen that as much as possible, I think that's a goal we need to work towards. That being said, I'm glad we put the survey out. That was a great idea, whoever had it. I don't think I get to take credit for it. Pretty sure it was Blanca or Matt.
Matt's the one who creates work for the staff.
I'm happy to try out Google Forms, and don't be surprised if community members see more Google Forms in the future for community feedback.
Yeah, and I mean, while it's by no means scientific, it's at least shows that there's community involvement. I really hope that the residents of both the city and the school district recognize this as the wake-up call that it should be and needs to be, that if we want to keep things like this around, we need to support them.
Right, I mean, attendance to the
Attendance
pool
would help.
would be great if people could actually go to the pool and take their kids to the pool and pay to go to the pool.
Or
That
perhaps,
would increase the budget, and
you have the golf course in town, which isn't free to operate either, and that's cash flowing because they got members, right? And then all these interested people. And so using a model like that for the pool might have some merit as well, is to do membership based. And then you can really pull out people from way out in the country or from other towns too. Give them a reason to come to town and use the pool in the winter time or whenever they want to, because they're members. They should feel very welcome then to do that.
These concepts are definitely welcome. I think they might be more appropriate, like at the granular level, at like the joint powers meeting. I think for the sake of this conversation, we'll just discuss on whether or not the city does agree to move forward with supporting the pool. And I'll just throw in my observations or my feelings here, I guess. You know, this is a community asset. We've had it for 50 years now. This, I feel, fits in our collective aspirations to move forward and grow the community to what we want it to be responsibly, of course. You know, we'll take a look at this idea of adjusting the joint powers board, you know, to reflect some creative input from the community. Obviously, that's not just a sole council decision, but you know, I think you know, what Landon said, that the community needs to commit to the pool as a whole as well and utilize it. It's a wonderful resource, and shame on me, I haven't been using it to its full potential to serve my family's recreational interests either. So it's definitely something that I need to consider. So does anybody have anything else for conversation?
Mr. Mayor, may I add something?
Sure. This is
I-
Pam, she's our city attorney.
I think this is a wonderful conversation and I just want the council to be aware with the Joint Powers Board. And I haven't looked at that agreement, but that's like a political subdivision treated the same. And they're gonna have some restrictions on that board itself being able to fundraise. The city will have restrictions on the city being able to fundraise. That doesn't mean that there can't be a separate committee of residents that are set up to fundraise and then donate money to the city or the Joint Powers Board. So just wanted that to put that out there. So as you're starting your conversations, you can't, you know, you don't get caught up in, and the city's going to do all this fundraising.
Thank you, Pam.
Yep.
At this point, I'll ask for a motion to move forward with the continuation of funding the pools, the city's half of the pool, even considering the new expense models.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Ferguson, seconded by Ebers to move forward with the continuation of funding the city's half of the pool, even considering the new expense models. Any further discussion?
Everyone here knows what that all entails, correct?
I need to go over the scope again.
Like,
That'd be helpful, yep.
just so we're in the clear, or we're clear here.
Basically, we're moving from a $40,000 a year commitment to a $100,000 a year commitment.
At this point.
At this point, yes.
The school loan is, oh no, fire away.
All right now. So the project scope, which was discussed at the beginning of February, when we kind of opened this just for consideration. So right now, replacing the pool locker room air handler and adding dehumidification is $209,400. Replacing AHUs in pool, including dehumidification, utility submetering, $672,700. Pool boiler replacement, $96,400. Pool exterior facade, so that wall that dangerously tips, $351,600. Wall finishes for the pool locker rooms, $7,900. Locker replacements, including the addition of ADA lockers, $26,500. Pool cover blanket replacement, $49,600. So the total with those costs is $1.414,100. So the split cost is $742,403, which would be the city's portion, including the operating expenses. So this is just for this project. This does not include the operating expenses, but the operating expenses currently budgeted for 2024 are $40,500.
And those are estimates.
Those are estimates. Yeah.
Is that what you were gonna say?
They haven't put it out for bid yet.
These are estimates of the project. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so more or less the impetus or what causes this project is the fact school is gonna be being remodeled. Granted, all of these items that are on the list that was laid out are basically deferred maintenance items with the exception of probably the boiler. But we have to go ahead with that replacement because they're going to move the school's mechanical to the opposite side of the building. So it's basically go forward with this project or don't have a pool. That's kind of the situation that's in front of us.
And it should be noted also that the school board decided on a 4-1 vote last Monday to move forward with their half.
They have a resolution that says they support the continuation of the pool.
Any other discussion? We have a motion on the table. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, we'll move down to discussion item 5C, the Renville County request for proposals for a childcare pod project. We had a little concept presentation last Wednesday at the EDA meeting, and Elizabeth will fill us in.
I am not offended if anybody wants to take this moment.
Yeah,
to
you
leave.
guys go home if you don't want to.
So we received a rather quick turnaround on this county proposal, so I took the liberty of moving forward with it, but if you would like me to take back our proposal tomorrow, we certainly can. So they are talking about this childcare pod project, which has been done in Stevens County, Minnesota. So this is to help out childcare deserts, which is essentially what we have been classified as, to try and get more people interested in childcare and in a childcare facility. So this would allow home childcare providers to start a daycare, not in their house. So these would be essentially like 1-bedroom townhomes. There's a really nice YouTube video about it, but 1-bedroom townhomes that a daycare provider could rent out to host their at-home daycare, but not have to have the wear and tear on their house, not have to bring their house up to code. You know, if you're a daycare provider, and still doing a daycare out of your house, you're really limited on, can you have dogs? You're limited on what you can actually have in your house if you're doing this business. So this is the proposal that they kind of presented to the cities. They're presenting it to Renville County West School District and the city of Olivia because we meet grant conditions of being located in a specific geographic area, the Child Care Access Equity area. So they can apply for a $600,000 grant to hopefully bring these childcare facilities to these cities without needing a $600,000 match. So they've asked these cities, Danube, Renville, Sacred Heart, and Olivia, to kind of say, what can your city offer if we choose you? So we brought this to the EDA. The city of Olivia EDA voted on offering $10,000 forgivable loan per pod to each new provider. So there could either be 2 pods that are built or 4 pods. And after discussion on our end, we were looking to donate, and we proposed to donate 2 of the parcels in the Prairie Views Estates that's up off 7th Street. So it's right by the Hickory Haven Incorporated, kind of across from Meadowcrest. I had in the reading copy, there's a map.
So
of donation of those 2 parcels.
there's some group homes over there on 7th Street on the north side.
Yeah.
It's on the back.
Yep.
It'd be the back lots of those. So it's actually kind of I don't know, it feels like it fits there geographically, perhaps.
Here and here.
No, do we have any infrastructure running out there?
So we have water to the north lot. And that's something that would have to be discussed at the county about infrastructure costs to those areas. That was not part of the proposal, that the city's on the hook for infrastructure costs. The proposal that I submitted just says the donation of those parcels.
So if you guys recall, we offered those lots up for purchase, and there's been no feedback.
No feedback. I sent letters and I included my email address, the phone number, and said, let me know.
People.
And nobody has taken us up to purchase those lots. That was probably October. I'd have to relook at the minutes.
So it's been ample.
It's been an ample time. And this would be the lot again behind that group home setting, not behind those individual residents who came here and spoke to you about the possible purchase of those lots. So that's the proposal that I sent in on Friday, because this had a ticking clock on it to say, we need your submission by Friday. Late proposals will not be accepted. But if you really disagree with it, I'm happy to go back to the county and say, actually, take our proposal off the
Do we
table.
have anyone who wants to run a daycare?
So the county would be responsible for building and for getting providers in there.
Okay.
This is their ownership of the project.
I mean, honestly, there's nothing else we're gonna do with those.
There's an
And this
intense
is-
need for daycare.
This is with a week turnaround time. This is what we could offer. There are other parcels that are privately owned that have the infrastructure directly to them. But a week was not ample enough time to chase down if those were probable leads.
And you, after, or the?
So I did include a mention in the proposal that there are private parcels that could work, but we didn't have the time frame to explore those. So if the county's interested, we're happy to entertain the conversation.
Okay, so you can still go back and,
If they choose that works for their timeline, yeah.
okay. All right.
So
But we're not buying them for,
not at this time, no.
because it's privately.
It's
owned,
privately
so it would
owned,
be
yeah.
Private.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we could start going down that rabbit hole if we wanted to. And if the county was like, yeah, just see if this could possibly work. But this is what, again, we could offer with a week turnaround time. So.
And it's not guaranteed that we.
No, it's not guaranteed that we get it or anything like that, but I hope that this is a strong proposal. I mean, if this idea goes well, there are obviously lots there where you could expand for more pods. It's a quiet street. You're a block and a half from Henton Park. So it seemed like you have water going to that north lot. Electrical is not that far to bring in, so it is workable. So just as a FYI.
Any comment?
I think-
Good.
Yeah, it's a need.
Daycare is badly needed.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, it might be to the best if the council makes a motion and
To approve the
votes on-
proposal?
yeah.
All right, call for a motion to approve the Renville County request for proposal for the childcare pod project that staff has put together and delivered.
Don't you approve our proposal, not the request for proposal?
Oh, gotcha. All right, thank you very much for that catch. Call for a motion to approve the proposal for the childcare pod project that staff has submitted.
So moved.
Thank you, Landon. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Patterness to approve the proposal for the childcare pod project, seconded by Baumgartner. Any further discussion? I just want to thank you for being flexible and proactive on this.
Thank you all for helping me make the timeline.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we'll move down to committee reports. Are there any reports from staff at this time?
Yes, so I'm gonna report on the pool for Tracy. She provided me with a pool report. We had 72 swimmers for our first open swim on Sunday, February 25th, and 57 swimmers on our second open swim on March 3rd. They've had one pool party with about 45 to 50 kids, and they're scheduling another one for April. She's posted a lifeguarding class for 2 weekends in March ahead of the holiday, and the water safety instruction will start in April and finish in May. She's working on lifeguarding review and another lifeguarding in May. So hopefully with new lifeguards, we'll be able to staff up the pool. Lastly, they'll be starting a shorter session of the 5th, 6th grader lessons today at 1 o'clock. She's asked some volunteers to help out on deck with the students. There are 60 kids in 6th grade and 65 in 5th grade. The classes are a little larger than some of the ones in the past. And that's the main pool update. I also want to update everybody that the presidential primary is tomorrow. There is voting at the Olivia Public Library from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if you're wondering where a lot of city staff is, we are helping out with that election. If you're wondering where I am on Thursday, I am attending the League of Minnesota Cities Day on the Hill in the Twin Cities on March 7th. So I can network there, as well as I have a meeting scheduled with Representative Erdahl to talk about Olivia's priorities, particularly as it pertains to the bond bill, to try and get some of our requests through there. I'll also be attending the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities Advocacy Day on the Hill in the Twin Cities on March 20th, where I will be meeting with our Senator Lang. He was unavailable on March 7th, so I couldn't do a 2-for-1. I tried. Yeah, exactly. And that is, I believe, the staff update.
Any other updates from fire department or police department? Okay, any updates from council? Nope. Lyndon?
Course is gonna be open soon.
Okay,
Important stuff.
good community, like how soon are you saying?
I don't know. I'm not a weatherman.
All right,
I mean, I guess I'm a politician, so we're right equally amount of time.
make some promises then. All right. Any notices or communications?
Maybe my presidential primary was supposed to be under that segment,
Very
but
good.
it's all that happened.
No further business to go before the council. I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Paternoss. Is there a second? Seconded by Baumgartner. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.